What if I told you the thing that we thought to fear is the very thing we need to thrive? That's sunlight, real, natural, ancient. It has been labeled toxic, when in reality, it might be your missing medicine. This is certainly not a conspiracy. This is biology. This is truth. And this is Super Life. I'm your host, Darin Olien. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to dive into this incredibly nutrient-rich superfood of our planet, sunlight. You know, it's wild. For hundreds of years, sunlight was used intentionally as therapy, not feared, not avoided, but actually embraced. This was called heliotherapy, from the Greek word helios, meaning sun. In the late 1800s, a Swiss healer named Arnold Rickley became known as the Sun Doctor. He opened clinics where people healed chronic diseases through full-body sun exposure, as well as water and air. What a concept, right? Then came Niels Finsen, a Danish physician who won the Nobel Prize in 1903 for using concentrated light to treat tuberculosis of the skin, a disease no one thought could be even cured. Heliotherapy became mainstream in the early 20th century. Hospitals built sunrooms. That's right, hospitals built sunrooms. Doctors prescribed sunlight for rickets, wounds, infections, and even depression. And this was backed up by research in 2021. So, when did the fear start? When we industrialized health. Crazy, right? When chemical sunscreens became marketable, when indoor living became the norm, when 93% of our lives became inside, and when we started to continue to disconnect from her, nature. We keep hearing the same story. Skin cancer is caused by the sun. Now, just hold with me here. I'm going to take you on a little journey. But let's look a little deeper. Yes, excessive, unprotected UV exposure can cause DNA damage. That's a fact. Just like everything healthy, when in excess, can turn against you. The dose is the poison, or the dose is the healer. But the explosion in skin cancer rates over the past 70 years, how did that happen? That's not just about the sun. That's about our modern lifestyle. Our fatal conveniences, man. In 2012, a study noted that the global rise in cancer, including skin cancer, is closely tied to environmental toxins, highly processed food, sedentary behavior, industrial pollution, and modern stress patterns. This was a study in 2012. We've created the perfect storm. Weak immune systems, inflamed skin from poor diets, microbiomes and microbes destroyed by harsh beneficial microbes, destroyed by harsh soaps, antibacterial everything, and a whole host of untested, unregulated chemicals. Underexposure to natural light and overexposure to artificial light. This isn't just about the sun. This is about how sick our foundation of our health has become. Even as far back as 1953, scientists warned about blaming sunlight alone. 1953. And in 2020 review, reminded us that in the 1930s and 1950s, doctors actually linked less sun to more internal cancers, sparking the now well-supported vitamin D and the cancer prevention hypothesis. You know how important vitamin D production is, and you know that it's coming from the sun. So I want you to put that math together. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but we have to use our common sense. So it's time to kind of reclaim the light. We need to reclaim the light within us, as well as that amazing sun that creates all of life. We've flipped nature on its head. We block sunlight, we block vitamin D, and we block the very important circadian signals. And then we wonder why we're anxious, we're inflamed, and we're chronically sick. Let's bring it back to truth. Sunlight, used with wisdom, is medicine. The body's defenses, melanin, antioxidants, and DNA repair are enhanced by proper nutrition and daily sun rhythm. The rise in disease is not from the sun. It's what we've become in its absence. So let's stop blaming the light and start rebuilding life that we were designed for. So, could we have been lied to about the sun? Let's be honest, the messaging around sunlight, it's been hijacked, bought, and sold. Sunscreen ads, dermatology fear campaigns, indoor office culture, indoor living, they all say the same thing. Hide from the sun, block it, avoid it, and what? Fear it. That is not the path. But here's the raw truth. You were never designed to live in the dark, were you? No. Your skin, your brain, your mitochondria function. Your hormones all depend on sunlight to function properly and to thrive. When you cut it out, you don't just lose a tan, you start losing your health. Light isn't just heat or light shining. It's not just this energy. It's actually data. It tells your body what time it is. Every cell of your body has a clock. When to sleep, when to repair, and when to feel actual joy. And when you rob your system of that information, you disrupt everything. In 2024, studies showed that people deprived of sunlight suffered higher rates of inflammation, insomnia, depression, and immune dysfunction. Another paper showed sunlight directly boosts serotonin, that beautiful brain and gut chemical that makes you feel calm, sharp, and focused. So what happens when you cover our eyes with UV, blocking them with sunglasses all day? Well, you disconnect the brain from this incredible nutrient. You literally block your pineal gland signal to regulate your circadian rhythm and hormone balance. That is literally the communication system of your body. Studies suggest that constant sunglasses use may actually confuse your body, causing you to underproduce melanin, make you more susceptible to burns. Really? Yeah, and the studies show it. You're not protecting yourself. You're disabling your natural light sensors that come through your eyes and turn on one of the master glands of your entire body, your pineal. It's not the sun that hurts us. It's the burn. So let's be clear. Sunburn is not the same thing as sun exposure. Burning, especially repeatedly, is a risk factor for skin cancer. Yes, common sense. Don't go out and burn. And I'll talk you through where you're at. where the pigment's at, where the melanin's at in your body. But gradual, conscious morning exposure is the safest. There's zero, I'm saying zero conclusive evidence linking that to melanoma. So, as you wake up to about 10, maybe even push it to 11 a.m., don't put anything on, don't put sunglasses on, don't put sunscreen on, and use common sense based on how much exposure you've had. Don't burn yourself. In fact, multiple studies show that moderate sun exposure is associated with lower all-cause mortality, better heart health, and stronger immunity. That was a study in 2022. So, what do? Build sun tolerance gradually. Okay? If you haven't been out in the sun a lot, you don't need much exposure. You need to turn on your light sensors in your solar panels of your skin and build up that melanin, build up that vitamin D production. Never burn. Respect the amount of melanin you have in your skin. This is your natural shield. And eat to protect your skin. I'll get into that. So, a word for those who fear the sun. Let's talk about that. If you're someone who's struggling with skin issues, maybe skin cancer runs in your family, maybe you've had a melanoma scare. I see you, I understand, your fear is valid, but also your biology still needs light. You are not broken and you are not fragile. You just need to relearn how to dance with the sun, not hide from it. This is not about reckless exposure. It's about rhythm. It's about nourishment. It's about healing intelligently. It's not just the sun, it's what we also eat. Here's something nobody seems to talk about. We're blaming the sun while feeding ourselves ultra-processed, nutrient-starved garbage. If your skin is inflamed, if your cells are oxidized, if your immune system is shot, of course, you're more susceptible and vulnerable to damage overall in your body's resilience. Things that are incredible. And the research around some foods are phenomenal. Chaga mushrooms, one of my favorites. It has its own melanin. It has that dark melanin already in it. And it contains this melanin, and it is and has vitamin D precursors in it. That's incredible. So this chaga mushroom from the fungal kingdom has melanin that helps protect us, and it has precursors to more vitamin D production for you. Plus, one of the greatest antioxidant mushrooms and foods on the planet. Even though you don't eat chaga mushrooms, you take it as a tea or a tincture. And taking chaga mushrooms, which is an adaptogen and is by definition can do no harm, so you can consume it every day. This fortifies the skin against UV stress. This was a study in 2025. Other of my favorites. Of course, chaga. I named my dog after this incredible mushroom. Cacao. I eat cacao. Less processed, less sugar, super high. I eat chaga that's between 85 to 100% cacao, right? Without all of the other bad things. These are incredibly powerful for the body. Spirulina, which I eat every day. Raw, living spirulina. Seaweed, berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries. Incredible. And then make sure you're getting copper, zinc, and the variety of polyphenols you get from healthy, raw, whole food with a lot of different colors. All of this, as well as tyrosine, are incredible for melanin production and skin regeneration. Okay? So building strength with common sense eating of whole foods, plus you're getting all of these other benefits to eating that way as well. A real sun protocol starts in the kitchen, not just on your skin or from the sun. So here's your light reconnection protocol. Again, this is not medical advice. This is only information. Take it in, depending on who you are, depending on where you're starting from, depending on what kind of skin you have, depending on your genetics, depending on if you've had issues or not issues. You need to use common sense. This is for information purposes only. Get direct sun in your eyes and on your skin within 30 minutes of waking. Obviously, not if you've stayed up all night, but that window between when the sun comes up and 10 a.m., don't stare directly at the light, don't stare directly at the sun, but in its location to turn on the light sensors in the eye, set their circadian rhythm, turn on that master gland, the pineal, and let that pituitary start communicating with the hormones, letting that information and that time sensitive circadian rhythms of every cell get that turned on. You want to expose yourselves to maybe go out for a walk 20, 30 minutes without sunglasses, without sunscreen. And again, depending on where you're at, 10, 20 minutes is all you need to do. Use natural, mineral-based sun protections with no chemicals of any kind if you're going to be outside longer. So use the natural, mineral-based sun protectants, no chemicals of any kind. These chemicals cause a whole host of other issues, barriers, endocrine disruption, other hormone disrupting mechanisms you want to stay away from and ditch those chemicals. If you're going to stay out later, then use the mineral-based clean sunscreens. Ditch the junk light as much as possible. So if you are in front of your screen a lot, then use yellow light filtering glasses. Raw Optics, test their lenses. They're a great company to support taking a break from all that blue light. You want to swap out those screens, and if you have your phone, you can change the tonal, you can down regulate the blue light just on your settings on your phone, and then fuel your skin. Eat wild, raw food, fermented foods, medicinal mushrooms, all mushrooms, but of course my favorite for the skin is chaga mushrooms. Copper-rich plants. Hydration, 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 clean water. Filter your water. AquaTrue, if you go to my marketplace, they give you at least $100 discount on your RO, reverse osmosis system. Clean your water. Get out the junk and the chemicals that are still in your tap water. So, we are living in a time where everyone is throwing around fear. This is not fear, this is information. We do not want to be afraid of the very thing that creates life. So while our culture has flipped the script and we're living inside and we're behind these screens, we're staring at this shit all day, we have artificial lights on, all of this stuff, our bodies are literally screaming and crying out to return to the rhythm. Return to the power of sunlight. Obviously, Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot in terms of their circadian rhythm and get that exposure in the early morning. And even at the end, get those other rays that are coming at the end of the day if you can. This is the truth. You are not designed for cubicles, blackout curtains all day, every day, or fluorescent flickering LED lights. That is not how we evolved. You are built for light. You are built for light. You are built for warmth. You are built to thrive under the sun. Let the sun back in, consciously, safely, and powerfully. This is Super Life. I'm Darin Olien. Go outside, get your ass outside, take off your shirt, Let the sun touch your cells and share this episode with someone who needs to remember who they are. Peace.